Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back. We've got a kind of a crazy video. There's some tilt involved, there's some hands, so I misplayed some. I think I forced action in some spots. If you guys want to know how I really feel about all the hands, make sure you stay till the end, and I'll let you know my real thoughts. But without further ado, let's get into those poker hands. Alright guys, welcome back. Once again, I'd like to say thanks for all the love and support on the channel. You guys are amazing, honestly. It's awesome. I was reviewing these hands before I started putting this vlog together. Ooh, it is painful. If you guys want to see max pain, stick around. If you want to see me just completely tilt and play horribly, and that's your cup of tea, yeah, stay till the end of the video. Anyways, we draw for 5 in this one. The small blind raises it up to 20. We decide to make the call with queen 4 of diamonds. Flop comes out 3-3-4. We flop top pair with a queen kicker. I'd say that's pretty much amazing. Go us. Flop checks through. Turn comes a 5 of clubs. And at this point, the small blind decides to take a little stab at it. He bets 25. Like I said, we flopped to 4. I'm kind of putting him 2 overcards. I don't think he hit the 5. I don't think he has a straight. So of course, I give a call to $25. The pot is a staggering $95. River comes a 10 of clubs. He leads out for 40. I tank for a little bit because I'm like, dang, did he hit the 10? 10's definitely in his range. He could have raised to 20 with like, I don't know, ace 10 suited, maybe jack 10 suited, king 10 suited, something like that. But I flop top pair. I don't think I'm going anywhere. After thinking about it for a little bit, I do decide eventually to make the call. We flip over our pair of 4s, pair of 3s with a queen kicker and beat his ace king suited, taking down a $175 pot. This is in the vlog because it is one of the few hands that we actually won tonight. On to the next hand. Alright guys, for the next hand, we look at the second best hand in Hold'em. That's right, Pocket Kings. What's better is there's a $5 button straddle and the small blind raised to 15. Perfect time to pounce. We re-raise it to 55. In hindsight, I actually kind of think we should go a little bit larger in this, maybe something like 65, kind of charge people who want to play a little bit more, but regardless, 55 is what we landed on. Everyone folds around. It eventually gets back to the small blind, and he decides to make the call. Let's go on to a flop. The flop comes out, and it is one of those boards where, you know, it seems good, but it could be bad too. It's queen, queen 6, 2 hearts, so there's a flush draw. I decide to check after he checks because either I'm way ahead or way behind. After the deuce of diamond comes on the turn and he checks, at this point, I think it's time to start building the pot. So we bet out for 35. He doesn't think about it very long and eventually decides to make the call. So when the 10 of diamonds comes out on the river and he checks, I think for a little bit, and I decide that 80 seems like a fair enough price in a $185 pot. So that is what I do. I lead out for $80. But the small blind player decides that's not enough, and he goes all in for 186. Now, I asked the dealer for a count, but I can tell by his stack size he doesn't have much over 100 more than what I bet. So I'm realistically never folding here, but this is realistically never a bluff. No one's bluffing on the river for an extra $106. That being said, I have kings, and I'm not going to fold kings for another $106 just in case he hit the 10 and thought it was good. So I call for 106 more. Of course I'm not good. He shows pocket deuces for the turn full house. This is why you don't check flops. Sometimes I hate poker. Anyways, on to the next hand. Alright guys, do not forget to like and subscribe please. Helps out the channel a ton. RIP to Pocket Kings. This one we're going to get into on the flop. I started recording late. Break it down for you real quick. I raised to 15. Got 4 callers. Flop came 5-6 queen. We have 7-8 of diamonds, so we flopped open-ended. Undergun bet 20. Button raises to 100. And at this point in the night, I'm already a little tilted. I'm already a little heated. I feel like, you know what? Let's gamble on this one. I decide to rip it all in and see where the chips fall. The under the gun player does not take long at all before he decides to call, and the button as well does not take much time in reaching his decision to call as well. So now we have 3 people all in, $630 in the pot, and we are going to 2 runouts. Hopefully we can hit one. The first run out comes, and it is a queen of clubs and a king of diamonds, so we missed that one. Second one is a three of diamonds and a two of spades, so we missed that as well. I think now's a good time to go to the live audio so you guys can see what I was thinking in real time.
All right, 6 is full on top. That's going to be a new high.
None of them are me.
Stop it. Get some help.
All right, very eloquently put by myself, and thank you, MJ, for the advice. I think I should heed it. Moving on to the next hand, you guys, I look down and see Jack 8 of clubs, a very well-known premium, basically one of the top 1% hands in Hold'em. So, windmill position raises to $25. I naturally snap call. There's no analysis here. This is just a bad call. Jack 8 should be folded to, $25 raise in a 1-2 game. But tilt happens, and sometimes you call, and sometimes you get lucky with a Jack 8-5 2 diamond flop. Let's go. Mill position checks. I lead out for 25 half pot. He instantly calls. We've got him on the hook, boys. We're gonna win a big one. Deuce of hearts comes on the turn. It changes absolutely nothing. So when he leads out for 75, I'm actually kind of confused because I don't know what checks flop and then leads out on the turn with his deuce of hearts. Like I said, it doesn't really change anything. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a bad player. Maybe I'm just, the fish at the table. I don't know. But this confused me. So I go into the tank for a little bit because I'm deciding on if I want to go all in here or if I would just want to call. But with the 2 diamonds out there and the fact that he only has basically 200 in total behind, I think the move here is all in. So that's eventually what I land on. I decide to move all in. He gives it a call, and we agree to go twice. He turns over his cards, shows he has pocket aces. I show my 2 pair. First run out is a queen of diamonds. Second is a 7 of clubs. So we hold with our 2 pair. He does not counterfeit us, and he does not hit his ace. So we scoop this $500 pot, and it feels good. All right, let's see if we can continue winning or if we continue to go on tilt. On to the next hand. All right, let's keep this winning streak going with ace-9 offsuit. I know what you're thinking. Not the best hand, but hey, you can make these little ace-9s work every now and then. We get a couple of callers. We slam down $2 because we don't really want to raise ace-9 right here. Cutoff decides he doesn't care what we have. He's going to raise it up to $20. Action goes around. Eventually, people do muck their cards. Something strange happens here. The button, for some reason, doesn't muck, and then people just start calling. The dealer starts taking in people's cards. I don't know what's happening, but he gets 3 callers, and at this point the button decides, okay, maybe I don't want to play with that many people, and he folds. I don't know, strange hand. I don't know if he announced he folded earlier, he wanted to fold and hold. I don't know what happened, but anyways, we're going to do the flop. The flop is 3-4-8 with 2 diamonds, so we have a backdoor flush draw, 2 overs, and that's kind of it. So we check to the cutoff. He bets $45, which is a little bit over half pot. It folds to us. Like I said, we have runner flush outs, things like that. We can rep the flush if a diamond comes. So I decide to float and see what happens. Our ace is probably good as well. The turn comes, and it is one of those cards that we are looking for. It is the beautiful 9 of spades. That's right. We now have top pair, top kicker, so we're beating all of his 8s. He immediately jams all in after I check. I look at his stack and I see he has a little over $100, so I make the call. But little did I know he had a black chip, so it's actually $210. He throws his pocket 3s in our face. We are drawing completely dead, and we're paying basically an extra $100 than we thought we were. That is a $590 pot, not going our way. I tap the table, tell him nice hand. I just should have paid more attention. On to the next hand. All right, after that last hand, I actually add on for another 300, so we are in the game for a total of 900. Look down, see Queen 10 of spades. The person to our right raises it 20. We call. Then the mill position decides to re-raise up to 75. Action folds around one by one. They slowly fall because 75 is a big bet in this game. Eventually, it does get back to the under the gun player. He decides he's going to gamble. He makes a call, and I immediately call behind because I feel like I'm getting the right pot odds. Plus, I'm stuck, and I want to play as many hands as possible. We are going 3 ways to this flop, and I would say it is slightly above average for us when it comes out 10-6 queen, giving us top 2 pair. The under the gun player takes a while before he decides that he is going to check on this flop. Me personally, when I'm in this spot and someone's re-raised, I'm always checking the flop pretty much every time. So I check to him. Middle position bets $75. The under the gun player does decide that he wants to see another card as well. So he makes the call, and I think this is where I mess up in the hand. I think this is a clear-cut raise for me in this spot, but unfortunately I try to get tricky and I just make the call. I don't know. I definitely think I should have raised. But anyways, going on to the turn, which is the 5 of clubs, it changes nothing. So because I didn't raise on the turn, I think my only option in this spot is to just check again and hope middle position player leads out. So under the gun checks, I check as well, and unfortunately the middle position player decides he's going to check. So the turn checks through. The river comes out, and it is the beautiful Queen of Diamonds giving us top full. That is right. We have the nuts on this board. Nothing can beat us. So when the under the gun player checks, I lead out for 200. Middle position instantly folds, and the under the gun player goes into the tank. This pot has ballooned all the way up to $650. If he calls this 200, it'll put it at $850 for this pot and bring us back to damn near even. So I'm praying for a call. The more time goes on, the more he's talking. I honestly don't know what he's going to do, if he's going to call, if he's going to fold. Please just call. We have played so bad. If you could just bail us out of this trap we got ourselves into, that would be amazing. Here I take a quick look at the board, and unfortunately he does decide to fold. So we don't get paid here, but maybe we can get paid in some other spots and get out of this hole. On to the next hand. All right, for this next hand, we put a $5 button straddle down. We look down and see a King 5 offsuit. Not exactly what you want to see on the button, but hey, it's in the vlog, so something interesting obviously is going to happen. Small blind raises it up to $25. It folds around to the middle position player who decides to make the call. Folds back around to me on the button. I am not raising, I am not folding, so that only leaves one option for me, and that is to call as well. We are going 3 ways to this flop, which once again isn't that bad of a flop. It comes out and it is King Queen 5 with 2 diamonds, so we flop top and bottom pair. Small blind leads out for $40. Middle position folds his cards, and at this point I have a decision. Do I want to raise right now, or do I want to slow play, and if he's bluffing, let him stick around with the bluffs? I decide on the latter. I just make the call, and we go on to a turn. The turn is the 9 of spades. He checks it to me, and I think I have a clear-cut bet here. I have to charge all his flush draws, any kings that I'm beating, so I lead out for $85, and I am kind of caught off guard when he announces that he wants to make a raise. That's right, he raises it up to $200. That is a little over a min click. I have 2 pair. I don't think I can fold for this small of a raise. It could be, you know, something like a 9, ace 9 that turned a pair in a flush draw. Could be all kind of things. Could be jack 10, I could be dead. But anyways, I call the 200. We go on to the river, which is the 8 of hearts. He checks, and I check behind. I think this is a bad play on me. I definitely think I should be going for value here and get paid by his kings that I'm beating, but he shows 8 deuce of diamonds, so, you know, who knows if we would have gotten paid. But anyways, on to the next hand. All right, so it's getting a little later in the night. I put the $5 button straddle on. Then we have a $10 and a $20 straddle as well. So things are getting crazy. Hey, I look down. I see 10-8 of spades. Not too bad for having a $20 button straddle out, honestly. It's suited, connected, way better than an average hand. So when the cutoff calls, I think this is a good enough time as any to try and help us get out the trap and raise it up to $65. The small blind immediately calls the 65. I think he may have had his money in before I even did. I don't know. He was very eager to get in there. So we have at least him as a caller. It eventually folds around to the cutoff, who decides he's going to go all in for his remaining $65. I'm sorry, the hijack does that, not the cutoff. And now we're waiting for the cutoff to act. After a little bit of time, he does eventually decide on making the call. So we are going 3 ways to the flop with a 4th player all in. The flop comes out and it's 3 queen 10 with 2 hearts. So we flop second pair. Now there's a lot of straight draws, there's a lot of flush draws. So when the small blind leads out for $100 and the cutoff eventually decides to make the call, I think we have a clear cut, make a call, see what happens on the turn. The turn is the 9 of spades, and other than bringing in king jack for the straight, this card doesn't really change too much. So when action checks through to me, I think I have a clear cut check behind, and I'm feeling a little bit better about my hand. Especially when the queen of clubs comes on the river, pairing the top card, making my pair of 10s more likely to be good. So when the small blind leads out for $200, he could be betting a missed flush draw. He could be betting, a 3, probably just a missed flush draw. I don't know. But the cutoff calls for $150. That's all he had behind. Unfortunately, when the cutoff calls, I think I just have a fold. I don't think there's any other option than fold in this spot. Unfortunately, I do have second pair. I am stuck for the night. I know the night is late and the game is going to break. So part of me thinks, hey, this is my chance to get out of the trap. So I make the call. That's not how you should do it. Small blind flips over king, queen, showing trips. So what do I know about being less likely to have a queen? Obviously, you can still have one. This pot is $1,110 and it is going to the opponent. Nice hand, misplayed by me. Let's go to the final hand of the night. What better way to end the night than looking down at the beautiful ace-king offsuit? We are in one of the later positions. So we wait for action to get around to us. There's going to be a few callers, and we decide just to limp. Try and be sneaky on this one, because I know that the player to my left, the one I've been in multiple pots with throughout the video, is an action player and likes to raise. So, yep, we get sneaky. Just put in the $2 call, and the player to my left does not fail when he decides to raise it up to $25. Action goes around. He ends up getting 4 people to call, and now is the perfect time for me to spring my trap. I re-raise it up to 125. The player to my left in the cutoff looks at his cards one more time and decides 125 is nowhere near enough to get him to fold. I know he's not going to fold. He could have any 2 cards. He gives it a call, and that is exactly what we wanted to have happen. So when we get him to call and slowly, one by one, the other players return their cards to the dealer, everything is falling into place. We have all this dead money, 25 here, 25 there, 25 everywhere. We want to get all that $25, put it in our pocket, and have a nice, good pot at the end of the night. Middle position player goes all in for his remaining $65, so we are going heads up to a flop with a 3rd player all in. The flop comes out, and admittedly, it's not really the best for our particular hand, but our range is extremely strong right now. So when the flop comes out and it's a 7-deuce-4 with 2 hearts flop, I feel like we have to c-bet here. And that's exactly what I do. I lead out for about a quarter pot, nothing too big, just $100. I feel like if he missed, that's enough to get him off the hand and maybe take it down. But unfortunately, he calls, so we're going to the turn, which is the 6 of spades. This is where I decide to slow it down and check. He does not want to check. He leads out for $300 after I check to him. I double check my cards. I have no hearts, so he could have a flush draw and just taking a stab at it, trying to take down the side pot and get it heads up with the other player who he could be ahead of. He could also have, 8s, 9s, 10s. He could have a set. He could have anything. So I think this is where I should fold in the hand. Unfortunately, I do end up getting a little sticky, which I think is an extremely bad mistake on my part. But that is what we decided to do. So we put in $300. And once again, this is just burning money. This is me being on tilt. This is me playing poorly. This is me at the end of the night trying to get out of the trap, which is not what you should do. Just if you get an L, take an L. But that being said, our ace is probably good. Our king is probably good. We could still be ahead right now. So is it the worst call in the world? No. Is it pretty bad? Yes. But nothing we can do where I put our chips in the middle. Let's go to the river and see what it is. It's the 6 of diamonds. Changes absolutely nothing. So I check. The player thinks about it in the cutoff for a second, and eventually he decides that he is going to check as well. He flips over his cards, showing that he called $125 pre-flop with 7-8 offsuit, flop top pair, and won himself a $1,190 hand. Good for him. GG. Let's go to the outro to see how I really feel like I played tonight. All right, guys. So first things first, I was in the game for 900 and out for 300. So that's a loss of $600. And as far as how I played, I actually think I played pretty bad. So at the end of the night and even the beginning, I was chasing, trying to force the action instead of just waiting for the cards to come to me. I could have actually ended up with a profit probably tonight had I played better, but it is what it is. We can't play well all the time. We make mistakes. We're human. But anyways, we have some good videos coming up. We have a straight flush video. I flop a straight flush and get paid. You guys don't want to see that one. And then I have my biggest win on the channel. It's going to be around $1,900, so definitely stay tuned for that as well. If you guys haven't already, please drop a sub. It really helps out the channel. We're trying to get to 1,000. And I hope you guys have an amazing day. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for giving me your time and spending your free time with me. I really do appreciate it. It means a lot to me. And I'll see you guys on the next one.